Hello Internet Explorers, my name is Ben Gavelda here with TransWorld SNOWboarding. We're at the 2014-2015 TransWorld SNOWboarding Goodwood All Mountain Test here at Winter Park, Colorado. We're in the beautiful side country. And with me, I have the Slash Straight. Slash Straight is a directional board. It's set back a little bit. As you can tell, it's got a pretty crazy tip and tail shape. The stance is also just set back slightly, kind of putting you back in that driver's seat. The tail on this board is quite a little bit stiffer than the nose as well. So that kind of lets you, set back, charge a little bit more for POW, just high speed, you name it. This is the board that Gigi Ruff rode to the podium at Ultra Natural. And yeah, that setback stance also gives you a little bit more nose, a little bit more float in POW. The camber profile on this board is also set back. You got some camber from here to here. When you have a good amount of rocker kind of lifting up, that's going to help keep that nose up in POW. It's also going to help just keep you up in any sort of condition. Kind of a lot of falls and failures in a snowboard happen in the nose, so having a little bit more nose keeps you up. But at the same time, you got a little bit more camber here and that stiffened tail. Stiffened tail has a little bit of rocker, so that's going to help you, lean it back as well. You can ride this thing switch, even though it looks a little wacky, you can still ride this thing switch pretty well, which is awesome. Part of this shape that complements that camber profile, it's got an interesting side cut. You have almost a regular side cut until you get to the middle here. You have this little bump. This is what they're calling a little traction bump. And just that edge comes out just so slightly. You can barely notice it, but it kind of gives you this pivot point, if you want to say. In ice and all kinds of different conditions, you can kind of feel that edge bump grip a little bit more. You can also kind of rotate on that. A lot of times when you're turning or you're on some steep or technical terrain, you can kind of turn and just get a little bit more bite out of there without slipping out. So that's pretty sweet. All right, inside this board, there's actually 4 different types of woods. And those are kind of placed throughout for a number of different reasons. Lightweight, kind of response where you want it, snap where you want it, all sorts of good things. Another thing happening on this board that you can't really tell, there are some landing strips. Essentially what that is, there's carbon and Kevlar strips running tip to tail. What that does is that just helps reduce some of the chatter you get sometimes when you're high speed, that tail or tips flapping around. That kind of gets rid of that, and also kind of helps you put down landings, i.e. landing strip. Just with that stiffer bit, you can really, go a little bit bigger and put it down, and it's not going to fail on you, not going to flop around when you're trying to send it. As far as the core profile of the board, it's pretty consistent. It really does have a nice clean flex. This is a 7 out of 10 on Slash's flex scale. But overall, it feels like a pretty awesome flex when you ride this. This is actually kind of one of my go-to boards for all-around riding. The name Straight, it really does like to go straight. It's pretty awesome. If you want to point it down something, it really does hold up pretty well just with that directional shape and side cut. At the same time, though, it can get a little bit surfy just by the shape overall. It's got kind of a surfy shape, but it's kind of a surprise how well it does at high speeds and just going straight. It's also got a little bit of a mystery fiberglass going on. What Slash is calling that is reactive, just like this reactive fiberglass. It's some high-tech Switzerland stuff that basically there's a little bit more flex going on. The flex of the board when you ride also flexes side to side. It's just a really reactive flex overall. So it's a bit of a mystery, but when you ride one of these things, it's definitely pretty surprising just how smooth it is overall. There you have it. The 2014-2015 Slash Straight snowboard, a winner in our all-mountain snowboard test.